This is Santa Barbara Wargaming presents Bug Hunt Quarters. So this is an unboxing of a set of sci-fi terrain that we got. It started as a Kickstarter project. It's made by Fantasy Arc. And we're hoping both to use this for Zone Mortalis, which we've gotten really into lately with 30K Horus Heresy, and also we're hoping that it'll also be useful for Infinity. Anything you want to say? Don't smoke, kids. It kills.
Well, it's not smoke; it's vape.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
No, nothing. Just I'm excited to get some games of especially ZM, Zone Mortalis in. I haven't actually played, as I said in my vlog, a game of 30K yet, but I'm pretty familiar with the rules. I'm pretty excited to see a piece of terrain, like a whole set of terrain that we can really dig into. That's not as much as I love, and I really love, right, the Zone Mortalis terrain from Forge World. It's horribly expensive, and this is, apparently, well, we're going to see the quality, but it's apparently a very good kind of substitute for the same type of terrain pieces.
Yeah, I did a lot of research online before picking this. So, let's get this open.
Oh, and our camera woman's Amber.
Hello.
Let me move my beer here. Moved.
Okay, here we go. So let's see. That is a lot of pieces. There's some instructions. Thanks for your Bug Hunt Quarters purchase. And here's assembly diagrams for each one of the different pieces I bought.
You wanna hold it on there so she can zoom in real quick?
Yeah, let's
just
see.
a little bit.
How's that? Okay, yeah, so this is the individual pieces for each thing I bought. Let's see, trying to remember exactly what I purchased here. I purchased one corridor set, large corridors, because I want something to get my Contemptor Dreadnoughts down easily.
And my Vorax and Castellix and, yeah.
And then an airlock, a cargo bay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there's the airlock. With doors A. Presumably we can email the guy at Fantasy Arc and ask that the next one, if we get more, which I anticipate we will,
then we can actually
door
get
B and door C.
Right, that we can do some type of
cargo hold.
Here, let's get a zoom in on the cargo hold.
Yeah, the cargo hold is a nice large room. Be good for putting some objectives in Infinity, or for just a flat-out firefight in 30K.
So as you can see, the instructions look pretty detailed for what you get. Let's see what we got here.
Look,
I guess I'll stand up instead of doing a close cam.
Yeah, let's see. So this looks like this is railing sets. Straight XG.
Oh my god, so many peanuts. So it gets shipped to you very nicely. Each one of the different sections appears to be separately packaged that are clearly demarcated Fantasy Arc straight section from the Bug Hunt Quarters, and so they look like that. Straight section.
And they're all
section,
they're all fully cut, which is kind of nice. I like Micro Art Studios MDF stuff. We have a lot of it for Infinity, but you can get repetitive strain injury punching all that stuff out.
Intersection. Well, and you can actually break the pieces of terrain as well, which I've learned through breaking, reassembling. So I really like the concept that this is all punched out and just ready to go.
See, there's some nice cut detail on here. You can see. Excited about this.
Each of the sections appears to be, pretty large, pretty good quality here. Yeah, psyched. So, out of curiosity, let's go over some just basic logistics. How much did it cost? How difficult was it to order? How long did it take to get to you?
To tell you the truth, I don't actually remember how much it cost.
No,
I'd have to look it up.
God.
But
was it a few $100 or less?
Yeah, this total whole box was somewhere between $250 and $300, I want to say, for the order.
Okay. Which, I mean, might seem like a lot if you're an individual gamer, but, you know, we have dues, we have a gaming group, so a few $100, it's not really a huge amount for something that'll get so much usage across multiple
and I also have to
systems.
say, as I said, I did a lot of research, and comparatively, it's actually really hard to find good interior terrain like this. This was actually one of the lower priced options, despite looking better than a lot of stuff that costs the same or more.
Well, and something that can also be used across multiple game systems, especially the two popular ones. Infinity, that just had N3, the third edition of Infinity just came out, and 30K, the Horus Heresy and Zone Mortalis, and you know, we're going to get a lot of mileage out of it. So the price point for the amount of gaming that we're going to be able to do, and for the quality, I mean, I'm looking at this, the quality looks exceptional. I think is actually pretty spot on.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy with the look of this so far.
And as
a bunch
you
of
can
stuff
see,
about light tube rings, which makes me wonder if
light tube.
Yeah, there's which is these things are light tube rings, which makes me wonder if you could actually. They don't look like pipes. It looks like more. But yeah, just easier to get thin.
They look like rings of light tubes.
Hush you! You're not actually as helpful as you think you are.
Oh no, I'm not. I wouldn't imagine I'd be helpful at all. I mean, Jesus Christ. Straight times 6. So, can't really see this. I wish that we had our close cam set up. We still only have the one camera for right now. Before too long, we'll have a separate cam set off to the side where we'll actually be able to just keep running the same audio track with additional video track so that you can see some of the stuff close up instead of jumping back and forth, which is kind of a pain in the ass. But as you can see, I mean, it's just a huge amount of terrain, just all kinds of straight sections, T intersections, straight sections. It's
four-way intersection here. You can see I'll turn this around.
That's great.
So you can see the base plate. Yeah, basically hoping the modular will give us enough layout for a couple of different.
But again, remember, boys and girls, modular means you get to select a build. It doesn't mean that you can continuously break down your pieces of terrain and try to reassemble them.
This is a pet peeve of Mark.
Yeah,
Mark has many pet peeves related to terrain.
No, I only have the several dozen.
We could have a whole vlog called Mark's pet peeves related
Mark's
to terrain.
pet peeves. Yes, we're getting the thumbs up from our camera woman, so that's good. No, it's just some of the Infinity terrain has proven to be similar in that we got it from MicroArt Studios, and it's supposed to be modular, right? The 3 different the 3 different levels of buildings or what have you. And some of our members initially, when they assembled them, kind of took modular to mean Lego. Modular does not mean Lego. Modular means that you get to select one of a different series of builds, and then you construct it, glue and all, how you want to construct it. It doesn't mean that you get to rip it apart or leave it unglued. This looks modular in the sense that we get to select a number of kind of like basic interior designs, spaceship designs, because it's all about blood in the void, right? And then we get to construct it in capless roof. We get to construct it like that, and that's how it is constructed, right? One of the reasons why I really like the concept of Zone Mortalis as terrain, specifically the Forge World. What you looking for, buddy?
Oh, here we go. Just looking for one of the painted Infinity pieces.
Okay.
Just going to do a quick little. So speaking of speaking of wanting to do multi-scale, so here is a very crudely held together. This is a narrow corridor with my Assassin Fide from Infinity.
That Christian's painting up for you?
That Christian is painting up for me. And you can see that looks quite in scale. That's a guy in a corridor. But then we're hoping to also be able to use it.
Let's see if we can see a Centurion.
Where's the Centurion? Yeah.
So as you saw from our AV test that Christian and I did when I first got the camera, like literally the night that I did, he was painting up some Centurions. Here, we'll grab one of his bases because he's not here, so screw him. as you can see, those look like 30 mil sections. As you can see, the scale for a Centurion for 28 millimeter or 30 or 32 or 28 heroic, which is actually like 32, is going to be pretty good. It's about what you would expect from an interior.
Tight fit in a quarter, but that makes sense for a guy in a gigantic sumo suit.
Okay, well, let's see what a Contemptor Dread looks like.
I was going to say also, I was going to look at the wide. I was going to pull out the wide corridor.
All right.
Do we have a Contemptor Dread handy?
We do have a Contemptor Dread. We also have a Land Raider Achilles. Fuck you, Forge World.
The Land Raider Achilles is not going to fit in the interior content.
Well, why don't you talk a little bit about Zone Mortalis as a sub game system as you're pulling that stuff out?
Sure. So the whole idea with Zone Mortalis is that it's a the whole idea with Zone Mortalis is it's designed to simulate close quarters firefights in Warhammer 40K, which is pretty much the same rule set as 30K.
30K.
Yeah, and they've got a couple. In the first Horus Heresy book, Betrayal, they gave rules that were kind of designed for bunkers, cramped ruins, things like that. The idea being you maybe have a zone on the table.
You got a sense of claustrophobia. You got a slightly different. You got some rule modifications here and there.
Basically, a few. There's basically special tactics representing, cutting new entrances in. Sure. Having a new passageway. Overwatch is basically way more powerful, becomes
way more powerful.
Yeah. Unsurprisingly, in close quarters, blast weapons become more powerful.
Don't they just hit everything in the corridor?
This isn't no. It's they. I don't remember exactly. They gain shred, and if they already have shred, they get +1 strength.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Basically, because they bounce off the walls. Kind of like a fireball in like old school AD&D, but without the mysterious restriction that the fireball radius is in feet instead of yards.
It's been literally, not figuratively, literally 20 years since I played. So
yeah, it's about. I was 15. So yeah, but kind of something stick with you. So here's the corridor, and if I can find a Contemptor, which is
I got a Contemptor right here.
Okay,
here you go.
Oh yeah.
Here, we'll get one of his one of his work in progress. Why is it glued? We're sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It's oh, there we go. I just yanked it off there.
Now, this is the Contemptor that got one-shotted by my Contemptor last round. So
moo moo.
Might as well highlight that little victory. So yeah, here's the Contemptor in the wide corridor.
Here, let's put a Sig, whatever it's called, Signifarian. Next to it, and,
I think that's a Praetor. Isn't that a Legion Praetor?
Anyway, here's a Highlander Grey.
So
you get a sense of scale.
Might not want to put the roof on, but you can see that the So there's all three game systems
that will potentially be
used here. Yeah, it's not like all the only three, not
War Machine. Yeah. Not Hordes, even if you're playing in some kind
Cult
of
of Cyrus,
Cult of Cyrus or Cephalic's Underground
you can do it,
bunker.
But it's probably a stretch.
Yeah.
So there we go. Probably wouldn't want to put the roof on the wide corridor section to fit the Contemptor through, but it could actually fit through that. Whereas if we run carefully not to.
Whatever.
Where did that Highlander Graven come from?
It looks like one of mine, but where did that come from? Christian doesn't play Highlander Greys.
No, that's like one of Andy's models.
Dibs.
No, whatever.
What? It's Rite of Conquest.
And whereas I think you could very fairly argue that this Contemptor Dreadnought could not in fact fit down this narrow hallway. So if we can mix up the narrow and wide,
but I mean we've all seen the Ed 209. We've all seen the Ed 209 clunky down hallways. I mean you can imagine.
You can do it either way. I mean depending basically on the needs of the game and whether or not you want Contemptors to run wild.
Okay, so again, how much was this? You said 250 or 3 or something?
I think it was around 300.
300? This is. Did it come as one set or did you?
So as I said, this was I got the basic corridor package, which is a great deal. That's where most of these straight corridors, the T intersections,
wide corridor,
the end caps came from. Okay. And then I enhanced it. No, the wide corridor set's extra. Because if I was just doing Infinity, I wouldn't do the wide. And frankly, if I was just doing this for really fancy Why am I completely blanking on
Zone
the name?
Mortalis?
No, the name that board game that GW said was out of print, and then they brought it back. Space Hulk.
Space Hulk. Space Hulk.
Yeah, if I was just doing really fancy Space Hulk terrain, I wouldn't do either because that's all Terminators and Gene Stealers.
Yeah.
So you don't need the wide, but wanting to mix it up a bit. So the wide was extra, the airlock was extra, and the cargo bay was extra.
Well, and
so that was the 4.
There's going to be a considerable amount of 40, I guess, with Centurions 50, because fuck those guys. And 60 millimeter bases being used in here because of 40K as well as 30K. We're going to be playing with Dreadnoughts. We're going to be playing with, well, my Adeptus Mechanicus, Vorax, and Castellix, and Thalexi, and stuff like that.
Yeah. So again, as I said, they'll fit without being they'll fit without looking odd in the narrow quarters if we want them to. But we can also, as I said, we can switch it up. So if we want to have your heavier things have to go through a choke point.
Corridor, two-sided room.
Yeah. There's a number of side rooms. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in this kit.
There is, I mean, literally, you can kind of see what the table looks like. We've gotten halfway through. We've gotten
There's
halfway.
A little more
Jesus
on
Christ!
I think
there's literally a layer. There's literally an epic layer. I overuse those terms a lot, and so I'll continue to overuse them. Just half the box left. Airlock. That is a big pack right there.
Airlock's going to help solve one of the things that I ran into the last Zone Mortalis game that I played with Christian. I don't know, I kicked Christian's ass. Okay. It was hilarious. No, which is that you do in Zone Mortalis. So I got kind of sidetracked. This happens to me. So in book 3 of Horus Heresy.
What, you were playing against Christian?
The whole Blood in the Void has rules for boarding missions on ships. So mostly, again, the same thing. Tight corridors, reaction fire is good. But it also has the catastrophic damage Blood in the Void table. So, sections might vent into space and things like that. But I learned that it's important to designate your entry points.
That is important.
So that when your reinforcements come in...
Oh, yeah. No, for reinforcements. That's what I was thinking.
Because otherwise, I felt I had the opportunity to outflank Christian, and I decided I couldn't take it because we hadn't explicitly said that you could come on from any of the edges of the board, and I didn't feel quite right.
So that's not a basic kind of like aspect of Zone Mortalis coming on from any edge of the board?
So if you use the actual Zone Mortalis terrain from Forge World,
right.
Or if you use like real terrain, it will tend to naturally have some gaps on the edges and some walls on the edges, and then it's fairly clear where your entrances and exits are. If you're homebrewing terrain out of like cigar boxes and stuff, which I went home that day after that game, which was really fun. But hampered by horrible terrain, and bought this. Well, started researching, and then like 4 hours later bought this. But anyway,
research fast.
Then it's not. So as I said, this will be one of the things. So we can either use the airlock for a big entrance, or just dead-end corridors on the side.
I've got to say, I mean, you get to see it piling up here. This is a 4x4 or? It's an incredible amount of terrain here.
I believe that the basic corridor set it said will fill a little bit more than a 2x2. But that's fill. I mean, that's like packed tight.
Yeah.
And then the cargo hold itself, as you can see, I mean, the cargo hold is not a small room. There's two.
The cargo hold is huge.
2 plates this size, or
as
one
you saw
plate?
earlier,
It's a substantial room.
That's the first miniature or the first piece of terrain I'm going to put together in 10 minutes or whatever. This is incredibly impressive. Would you say this is impressive as well as worth the cost?
Yeah, no, I'm very enthused about this.
This is like a month of dues. I mean, if we went hog wild, a month of dues plus some. If we went hog wild with our actual dues, which we usually use for other things. Yeah. Well, and we got we didn't do an unboxing because it was between AV equipment, but we got a lot of the Wild West terrain that's very, very similar to this for Wild West Exodus and for Malifaux and You know, we've used some of them in War Machine and Hordes games in a pinch, but I think that was more expensive as well. But it was about the same quality as this, nowhere near this amount. The Wild West terrain we got was a little cheaper than this, but might have sparsely... You could say that it's sparsely filled a 4x4 table. This is going to, like, pack. This is going to pack that table. Yeah, you get to see just the incredible... amount.
One other thing that I've gotten kind of sensitive to...
Oh my god, are we done? Is that everything?
Is scale. So that's what I'm going to do. This is the standard side room showing a standard door. And as you see, I am holding the base under because, I mean, that's only...
Yeah.
It's only... You can see a Space Marine can actually fit through this door without ducking if you don't count his base.
Yeah, it's a 7-foot tall door.
know, yeah.
It's like a regular sized door.
You know, so it looks... And Space Marines are, after all, you know, supposed to be slightly larger than human size. And if we take... where'd my Fide go? If we take the...
Where'd my Fide go?
Yeah, if we take the... if we take the Hassasian Fide... You know, again, even on his base, because Infinity's like he actually fits through.
Yeah.
We have a pretty nice cardboard terrain set that we've used for Infinity a few times, but
yeah, it's,
all the models
kind of
have to hunch.
I'm trying to remember what the manufacturer was of that cardboard terrain. It's good. It's good. As with many of you, I'm sure, when we actually are getting terrain and we're trying to think of what we want in the long run as a gaming group, Santa Barbara Wargaming goes through a number of different options. Kickstarter, I think that was a Kickstarter. Different resin or MDF, things like that. Nothing against that piece of cardboard terrain, but I think that this might very well just replace it. Just kind of like we got Terraclicks, and those are now in a box gathering Nurgle dust. This looks like an amazing replacement for anything that could provide to us as a gaming group. Sorry, not trying to get distracted. This is just absolutely amazing. I mean, I'm very, very impressed. As you can see, this is... It's a little overwhelming. Oh, and it just goes together like...
Here's a dry fit
perfect.
Of the cargo hold.
Yeah, here's a Camel.
Camel, yeah, remote. I was gonna say.
Camel remote.
Go through that pretty nicely.
Here, where's the
McGrubby guard? I guess they've got the heavy. You know, put that out. They've got the heavy roll now, so technically, I think they're not supposed to fit through.
Oh god.
They use it for size comparison. I don't know why it's not glued to its base.
Well, because I was going to paint the underside of it. This is actually everybody who knows and loves the classic. We'll call them classic at this point. Magriba guard. Or as they're called...
Tachikomas?
Tachikomas.
Yeah.
Get to kind of see it there.
Yeah, and you can see, so this is a tag, you can see it's, you know, you'd have to imagine it kind of ducking through, but again, that makes sense. They've got the heavy roll in the game.
Yeah.
They're not actually supposed to be able to get through a door this size.
So I think that the
about
scaling...
right for what's called a wide gate in Infinity.
Yeah, I think that the scaling is pretty darn good, especially for most Infinity... For most 30K, 40K. Final thoughts?
Well, I'm really happy with this so far, and
I mean, look at it.
Looking forward, once we get a bunch more of this assembled, we'll come back and do another follow-up video.
Yeah, we'll show a few painted pieces, or at least primed
Let's start with assemble.
I know. I'm saying.
Let's just not get ahead of ourselves.
I like to get ahead of myself. Okay, so from all of us here at Santa Barbara Wargaming, you're supposed to
Signing off. Am I supposed to say may I roll poorly?
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Are we still doing that?
We're still doing that.
May you roll poorly. Santa Barbara Wargaming presents Bug Hunt Quarters Part 2. So, after spending some of the evening assembling, this is what we have. This is an end room. So you'll see it. It has the connecting piece to a corridor there. One narrow corridor. There are 5 more of these, I believe.
Yeah.
In the corridor pack that I got. Then this is the, admittedly I found somewhat confusingly named Corridor 2 Side Room, which is not a room, it's a corridor. I would call it a 2 side room corridor, but Anyway, it looks basically like this. This part is actually in the side room kit. I haven't built the other one yet, so it looks like that. That all just locks into place there. Then you can slot in the room. These doors open and close again.
Here, wait, let me see you do that again.
Okay, these doors. Let me try to do it with this hand, my offhand, but open and close again.
Yeah.
If you want to play with door activation. Just talking about, I think these would look.
Oh God, hands.
I think these would look great for Infinity. You know, I don't know if you play Infinity. Line of sight, very important. Also, keeping partial cover, very important. So all these kind of, but yeah, all these narrow corners would be great. Put a few long ones to give the machine gun something to do. This area just screams a chain rifle.
Yes, it does.
But yeah, this looks like it'll be fantastic for Infinity. And yeah, you could definitely pack a small 40K squad in there, and of course these are the small sized rooms with the normal corridors. We also got the if you want to pan over there, we've got the wide corridor dry fit, and then of course we've got the cargo hold for a slightly larger room.
There's a T-junction.
That's actually a 4-way junction. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like this. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. And then we got the wide here. Yeah. And then all the other wonderful rooms that we have to put together.
So, the instructions take a little bit of work.
I found them extremely confusing.
They're good about the order that things need to go in, and what the attachment point is. But there's definitely some details like angles. Like I had a problem with the railing. The railings go sideways like this with the unfinished bit of wood here and the cut bit of wood there. You know, that's not really clear because they just kind of point at that corner, and I actually attached them.
Let me see that real quick.
Yeah, so burnt cut edge goes inside, not up, which is what I thought from the beginning because they actually fit pretty well that way. There's a couple other details like that, so we recommend, well, taking a look at this video, for instance, because we'll do these nice assembly, and now that we've gotten good at it, we'll probably redo an assembly video where we actually take you through piece by piece on a few of these. Recommend watching something like that or taking a close look at the photos. As I said, in terms of order, they're great. In terms of how it actually fits together in 3D, could definitely use a bit of work. But the actual quality of the cut itself is really excellent.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that despite our problems with the instructions, we can basically figure it out by remembering the big principle when assembling the Bug Hunt Kit terrain is the details actually go on the inside, because the outside is designed to be all unfinished, and just get these really nice interior shots. I mean, the level of detail.
Yeah, I mean,
you can
if you like Infinity, I mean, you can already see.
And you just give that a wash. All that detail will just pop right out. That'll be an excellent experience with very little painting, and all the fit is excellent. Only a couple pieces so far in all this set that were tight enough that I had to use a bit of force to get them in, and similarly only a few pieces that were so loose that I really had to hold them for a long time until the glue tacked up. So I'm really happy so far. I'm looking forward to getting the rest of the set done. Then we'll take another video when we've got it all laid out like a table. See you later.
Aww. Oh, start right now.